tell you how happy I am to see all of you here this morning. We have an incredible mix of interests here today. We have people that are farmers from farm organizations, people from the solar industry, from energy groups, from local land use planners, public officials, land trusts and environmental organizations, from academia. We have an incredible diversity of partners that are here today. For the American Farmland Trust, this focus on combating climate change, solar energy, farming, and the future in New York. These issues are very central to our organization. For those of you that don't know AFT, we're probably best known by our four words that are seen on tractors and bumpers and manure spreaders and laptops in many places, no farms, no food. But our mission is to save the land that sustains us by protecting farmland, promoting environmentally sound farming practices, and keeping farmers on the land. And today's conversation about farmland and how to keep it in farming, about how to address the challenges our society faces with climate change, and ultimately how to help people make a living from the land, are very central to today's event. It's also very central to our organization. So I very much appreciate all of you being here. Being here on Long Island is very important for many reasons. One of which is that Suffolk County, in some ways, was the birthplace of the farmland preservation movement in America. More than 40 years ago, farmers, public leaders, planners here on Long Island recognized that farmland was not just important for people that were growing our food, but was really an incredibly valuable asset for all of our society. And that we couldn't take that land for granted. That for too long people had thought of farmland as just undeveloped space or temporary land use, waiting for something better to come along. And they realized that they needed to take action. And so now, more than 40 years ago, Suffolk County was the first government in America to put public funds forward to pay farmers to permanently protect their land for farming. And what has happened since is pretty incredible. Now, hundreds of local governments and private land trusts, 28 states, the federal government have all invested in working with farmers and ranchers to protect their land. Combined, they have now protected nearly 7 million acres of farm and ranch land across America. That is an incredible legacy that really started in many ways more than 40 years ago here on Long Island, because there was a recognition that farmland had incredible value and that the public needed to act to help work with farm families to protect it. Long Island and Suffolk County is also a great example, and there are wonderful examples here where farmers are being very intentional with how they care for the land. And there's a recognition that stewardship of the land is very important for protecting drinking water. And as farmers are investing in regenerative farming practices that treat our soil as biological systems, they are finding ways to help improve our resilience to severe weather events and help sequester carbon. So there's just such an important recognition that this land is valuable to our society in many, many ways, including in our efforts to help combat climate change. Importantly, Long Island is also a coastal community, and the effects of climate change are very significant here. Issues associated with sea level rise, severe weather events. The effects of climate change are very, very real here, and there's a recognition that there's a need for action. And so today's event is really going to try to weave together these two themes of recognizing the value of farming and farmland with the need for action to address climate change, with a particular eye towards solar energy. And with New York and many other states, 24 others in the U.S. Climate Alliance, that have made significant commitments to combating climate change. There's incredible energy around rebuilding our energy system. And solar energy is clearly a critical part of those efforts, and helping to reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with our energy use. And solar developments are not only an important part of those state efforts or public efforts to combat climate change, they're also a critical opportunity for farm families, for landowners, for communities to bring new income, new revenue, to help keep people like farmers on the land. But the challenge for us in part is that solar developments are going to have a significant footprint. In New York, by some estimates, to achieve the state's renewable energy goals, New York will have to build between 50 and 100,000 acres of solar developments by 2030. To give you a sense of scale, that would equal or surpass the amount of residential development that's been happening on farmland in recent years if all of those new solar developments were to happen on farmland. So the choice about where these developments happen is really critical. It is very true in New York, like many parts of the Northeast, not all land is created equal when it comes to farming, and there's some really powerful opportunities to be intentional about where we site new solar developments. In today's event is also going to shine a real spotlight on how, not just where, but how. And the real exciting research and programs and partnerships that are looking at issues of dual use or agrivoltaics or solar farming, finding ways to actually enable people to generate income from agriculture, from farming on the same property where they are generating solar energy. And we have a real interest in looking at the programs, the policies, the partnerships, the models that can help make those opportunities possible. We've intentionally stacked the deck with today's agenda to make everybody hopefully a little bit uncomfortable. Not because we want it to be too cold or too warm or too dark or too bright, but we've intentionally brought in voices from different perspectives from today. We've brought in some voices from afar. We all know that sometimes we get used to our own sandbox, and bringing in people that have got a different view of the world is very helpful. So we have speakers that are coming from other parts of the Northeast and other parts of the country. We brought people that are speaking from different industry sectors or different perspectives, different scales of use. And if you want to look at our agenda, you can see how things are going to be playing out today. We're going to start today's forum. We're actually going to switch some things up. So we're going to start with lessons learned from Massachusetts and sharing some examples, some research from just to the north of us in Mass. We're going to take a break midway through that. Afterwards, we're going to have Kara Allen speaking from NYSERDA from a state-level perspective in New York. Then at lunch, we're going to have Jimmy Dawkins from the American Farmland Trust talking about the 25 states in the U.S. Climate Alliance that are helping farmers and ranchers take action and combat climate change. And then in the afternoon, we're going to take it home with a real deep dive into the issues of co-location, and then end with a panel of speakers here from Long Island talking about the opportunities that are here in this part of New York State. So our goals have been to inform, to inspire, and perhaps to incite. Not riots, but hopefully action when you leave here today. I do want to thank a number of people that made today's event possible. Certainly, it's wonderful having the 100 plus of you here today. We have 15 speakers that have come together to share their perspective on these issues. I want to thank each and every one of them. I think Jordan, where's Jordan? Jordan in the back. Jordan got the award for traveling the furthest, coming in here from Colorado. So Jordan, thank you for logging the most miles. It is, events like this come together with the help of many, so I really want to thank our friends at the American Land Trust, Long Island Farm Bureau, the many parts of Suffolk County that have really helped make today's event possible. And then I also want to make sure to thank, conveniently, Ashley Raymer and Samantha Levy from the American Farmland Trust from our team that were the real catalysts that help make today's event possible. So thank you very much, Samantha and Ashley. I lastly want to close. You might notice that we have people that are filming here today. That's on purpose. We have seen that there is an incredible interest in these issues from communities across New York. We did a similar forum almost as far away in New York as you can get from here. I think it's a 7-hour drive to the North Country of New York, where we did a similar forum with almost a similar size group in the North Country of New York. And we've witnessed the real enthusiasm, concern, passion for these issues that exists across New York. We're really excited about the incredible conversation we're going to have here today, and want to thank each and every one of you for being here to be a part of it.